Hello, and welcome to another episode of Shipo's Book Reviews. Today, I will be reviewing Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. This video will not contain spoilers, so feel free to watch ahead even if you have not yet read Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness. I will start this review with a metaphor. For me, Heart of Darkness is like a good kombucha. It's not great at first, but once you let it ferment for a while, you realize how great this novel really is. Joseph Conrad was an extraordinarily interesting man. Heart of Darkness was written in English, and that was his third language. He spoke Polish and then French, and then started to learn English when he was 21 years old. Imagine writing one of the greatest works of fiction, of literature ever, in your third language. It's pretty remarkable. And stylistically, this book is beautiful. It's reminiscent of poetry. You read it and just the way Conrad describes the setting and the characters and just objects, it's truly beautiful. It's like 100 pages of poetry almost, with an amazing plot. However, this comes with a trade-off. The book is really difficult to read at times. And at times you'll find yourself stumbling over the same sentence again and again and again. And it can get really frustrating. I would recommend just skipping over something you don't understand and just read on through. And when you read it again, you maybe look at some external sources, you'll start to understand what Conrad's getting at with his more nuanced descriptions. The characterization of certain characters in the play is also, it's beautiful. There's no other word for it. It's just beautiful. Kurtz, this doesn't contain spoilers, but Kurtz he reminds me of the sexy devil archetype, the one Milton created in his Paradise Lost. He's wrong. You know he's wrong. He's an imperialist. He does these horrible things. But at the same time, he's just intriguing and he's powerful and amazing and you want to be like him, even though you know he's so wrong and the things he do are so evil. A quick disclaimer before anyone begins to read Heart of Darkness. I understand that the book is incredibly racist. I do not condone or reinforce any of these behaviours. The way in which Conrad describes the native people of the land is deplorable and despicable. However, I understand that relative to Conrad's time period, this was all he would have known. Ideas such as social Darwinism were in peak popularity during this time. And I believe that it would be foolish to not read Heart of Darkness because of it. Although the book is flawed in some aspects, it still contains some great ideas. And that even though the book is racist, you need to read it, just because of how influential it was for the time. Although I personally believe Heart of Darkness to be racist, many critics do not believe Conrad to be racist. They argue that Conrad describes the imperialists just as badly as the natives. However, I argue that the imperialists are actually doing something wrong, whilst the natives are not. And the way that Conrad goes after imperialism in this text was revolutionary. He always shines it under negative light, and he shows the brutality and how horrible this practice really was. This was completely revolutionary. Up until then, everyone thought imperialism was fine and it was normal. Conrad was one of the first people to write a novel, a famous novel, an influential novel, about why imperialism is horrible and bad and just not good, and I need to cut right here. Many people believe Joseph Conrad's Heart of Darkness to be one of the first pieces of modernist fiction. The ambiguity and obscurity in which Conrad writes is a key element of modernist fiction. Also, the way Conrad breaks away from societal held norms is also very modernist. This just adds another element to this incredibly interesting novel, and just another reason why you should read Heart of Darkness. Heart of Darkness is an amazing piece of literature. However, if you asked me what I thought of the book after my first read, I would have told you that it was horrible. I hated Heart of Darkness after my first read. I thought it was a horrible book, and I had no idea how anyone regarded it as a famous piece of literature. However, I studied it in Year 12 literature, and under the help of an amazing teacher, I began to understand the book and appreciate Conrad's use of his flamboyant, obscure, strange language. I would recommend this book to everyone, but I understand it's challenging. Just know that if you put some work into it, you get a lot out of this amazing book. I personally rate this book as an A-tier book. That's all for today. See you guys next time. I hope you read Heart of Darkness, and let me know what you think of it in the comments below. Like and subscribe. See you next time.